The knock on our cabin door came at 9:30 p.m., sharp and relentless, like someone trying to break through the quiet of our mountain retreat. My wife, Ellen, and I were halfway through a pan of roasted venison and a couple of IPAs, the fire crackling in our old stone hearth. We'd driven 3 hours from the nearest town to our secluded hideaway in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, a place where the only neighbors were pine trees and the occasional fox. But when I opened the door and saw a woman clutching a clipboard, flanked by 2 men in cheap security uniforms, demanding to inspect our property under the authority of a homeowners association that didn't exist, I knew our weekend was about to take a wild turn. She had no idea who she was messing with. When Ellen stepped forward, her federal badge glinting under the porch light, and told them to back off or face serious consequences, their bravado crumbled faster than a dry cornbread. That night was just the start of a battle we never saw Kaminga clash with a woman who thought she could rewrite the rules of our land and our lives. 3 days earlier, everything was perfect. I'd just finished a long week managing a hardware store in Raleigh, and Ellen, a deputy U.S. Marshal, had cleared her schedule for a rare weekend off. We'd been coming to this cabin me granddad's old hunting lodge for 20 years, fixing it up board by board. It wasn't fancy, creaky stairs, a finicky propane stove, and a view of the valley that made every hassle worth it. We packed our Jeep, tossed in our retriever, Buck, and left the world behind, winding through back roads past the last Dollar General until we reached our slice of paradise. That first night, we sat on the porch, the air cool and heavy with the scent of cedar. Ellen, in her faded denim jacket, looked more like a small-town librarian than a woman who'd chased down fugitives across state lines. "No cases, no calls," she said, clinking her bottle against mine. "Just us." Then we heard it, the whine of an ATV tearing up our private dirt road, ignoring the no trespassing signs we'd nailed up years ago. A woman climbed off, marching toward us like she owned the mountain itself. She wore a straw hat, pressed khakis, and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Good evening," she called, thrusting a flyer at me. "I'm Brenda Hollis, director of the Pine Valley HOA. Your cabin's in our new jurisdiction, and you're out of compliance with our codes." I stared at her, then chuckled. "Ma'am, this is private land. No HOA out here." Brenda's smile tightened. "We've expanded our boundaries. You'll get a bill soon." She turned on her heel and roared off, leaving dust in her wake. Ellen raised an eyebrow. "She's trouble," she said. "We thought it was a one-off, some busybody lost in the woods." We were wrong. The next morning, we found glossy signs stapled to our trees. "Illegal structure subject to demolition." Ellen ripped one down, muttering, "This is straight out of a bad movie." I called the county sheriff, who confirmed no HOA had jurisdiction in our area. "Keep a record," he advised. That afternoon, a black pickup cruised by slowly, Brenda's face visible in the passenger seat. Ellen snapped photos. "She's not done," she said, her voice low. That night, as we grilled steaks, the pounding started. Not a polite knock of fist hammering on our door. I opened it to find Brenda, now with 2 burly guys in green shirts and fake badges, one clutching a radio like he was in a cop show. "This property is under Pine Valley HOA control," Brenda snapped. "Step aside for inspection." Before I could respond, Ellen stepped into the light, unzipping her jacket to reveal her badge. "U.S. Marshal Service," she said, voice like steel. "You're trespassing, and those badges are about to land you in federal trouble." The men froze. Brenda stammered, "This is outrageous," but her goons were already backing away, one muttering, "We're out." They dragged Brenda to their ATV and peeled off. I shut the door, heart racing. "That was intense," I said. Ellen didn't smile. "She'll be back. People like her don't quit." She was right. The next day, I climbed to the roof for better Wi-Fi and dug into Pine Valley HOA's website. It was a mess. Blurry stock photos, a security team page featuring the 2 fake guards, and a map claiming our land and half the county is theirs. I cross-checked our deed and the county's records. Their map was pure fiction, swallowing up private plots with no legal basis. "This isn't just pushy," I told Ellen. "It's a scam." She nodded, already on her phone with a DOJ contact who'd seen similar rackets fake HOAs bullying owners into paying fees or selling cheap. We printed everything, screenshots, fake maps, Brenda's violation notices. Ellen built a timeline, noting every incident, while I added locks to our gate and checked our trail cams. Then things got uglier. 2 nights later, we woke to no power. Our solar line had been cut, and the shed camera had been torn down. Ellen recovered the footage. Brenda, in a black hoodie, snipping wires at 2 a.m., her face clear as day. Got her, Ellen said, sending the video to her contacts. By morning, the feds were involved, calling it a potential felony. But Brenda wasn't done. She showed up with a tow truck and a crowd of Pine Valley residents, waving signs calling us squatters. I blocked the truck, staring down at the driver. This is private land, I said. Ellen, filming, added, I'm a U.S. Marshal. Touch anything, and you're done. The driver bailed, and Brenda's crowd started to waver. When Ellen flashed her badge again, one guy dropped his sign and walked off, saying, this feels wrong. Brenda's final mistake was her monthly HOA meeting at a local community center. We showed up, Ellen in her black jacket, I with a box of evidence. As Brenda rambled about community standards, Ellen stepped up. I'm a U.S. Marshal, she said, holding up her badge. The room went silent. She laid out everything, the fake maps, the cut power line, the hired thugs with no licenses. I held up our deed next to Brenda's forged map. She's lying to you, I said. Your properties aren't hers either. A woman gasped. She charged me $1,500 for dues. Then one of Brenda's guards stood up. She paid me cash to scare people, he said. No paperwork, no license. The crowd erupted, demanding answers. Brenda tried to run, but county officials had been tipped off and handed her a citation on the spot. Within days, Brenda was under investigation for fraud, trespassing, and property damage. The fake HOA collapsed, and residents filed lawsuits to recover their money. We fixed our power line, added more cameras, and sat on our porch, but at our feet, the valley quiet again. Brenda's car was last seen at the community center, her clipboard abandoned and the lotus symbol of her shattered scheme. Ellen leaned back, sipping her beer. She thought she could bully us, she said. I grinned. She picked the wrong fight. This whole ordeal made me think about power, justice, and how far some people will go to control others. Have you ever faced someone like Brenda, who tried to bend the rules to their will? Or dealt with an injustice that pushed you to fight back? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear where you stand on standing up to bullies or navigating unfair systems. Let's get the conversation going.